Show you how you can make paginated REST API using Node.js and Postgres database. So when we make requests to /users questionnaire page and limit 5, then we get results of total 5 records, and since we are on page 1, that's why we see page 1 here and limit is 5, and total there are 100 results, and if you multiply 20 into 5, that will be 100, right? So that's why it is saying total pages formed, that is 20, because we are showing 5 records on each page, so that's why. Now to build this, it is really simple. First you will need Postgres installed on your system, so install Postgres and then install dbware or any other client that will connect to your database, so we can execute queries for the database. Okay, once you connected, create the database if you don't have. So for that, run create database pagination demo for now. Yep. And then the second command is create table users. So this is the dummy user data I think we will use. We just need to create the functionality, so we will create simple table users and give name, id, email as a column, and then using this query we will insert some dummy data. So if I execute like what is all in my users record, so if I execute this query, you can see like I inserted 100 dummy records. Okay, so that's all you need. I will provide link to this whole project in description, so don't worry, the queries are in the readme file. Okay, so to create db table setup, you need to execute those queries, and you can check using this query. Now the second thing is, once you set up and your database is working, we will make use of those two env variables. First is port and second is database url. So database url is basically configuration from where we will connect to database. So Postgres, and this will be a username and password @ localhost. This is port, and then database name, which is actually a pagination demo, right? So now let's open new terminal. Wait, I have this open, so let's kill this previous one and this new. And after you create this blank project and have these two files, I think only one is required, .env. This is just readme file instructions. .env is definitely required. Then what you need to do is do the npm init -y. Also you will need Node.js to run this project. Obviously you have Postgres and all. Then npm install init -y, and this will initialize whole project to the npm. Then what you can do is, as we initialize our project here, we need some packages. So to do that, we will run npm install package name .env and express framework and pg. So as you have guessed, like .env to get the values from the env to our application, and express is to create the REST API framework, and pg is to interact with our database, Postgres database. So that's all we need for now. Now let's change some things in package.json. So basically in scripts we will create start script. So when we run npm run start, it will execute node index.js. So to let me create index.js at root level. Yeah. So if I execute npm run start, it executes index.js node index. So technically I don't have anything, so that's why it is not showing me. Yeah. Now so let's go over like direct structure, what we need. So this is, I think, a small project, I guess. So second file we need is db.js. Here we will write our database configuration all, and other thing that we need is inside routes folder, create a new users.js. So whatever logic for the users get route, we will make the http get request, right, to get the records. So for that we will write code in users.js only. Okay, so first thing first, we will write the database connection and configuration. So here do const pull equal to require pg, and then we will require .env config. So this will load our config variables in this db.js file, which we need, right, database URL. And then I will create this pull connection, const pull equal to new pull. In here I will pass connection string process.env dot that variable name, which is database URL. Okay, and I can export this model.exports equal to pull. Okay, our connection is ready, and I can make use of this pull variable in our main file. So let's close this env. Let's start writing index.js, right? So first we will const express equal to require express framework, and then we will create app instance from it, const app equal to express, and then const user router, which we will define in second, equal to require that / routes, and insert that it is in the users, right? So how we will assign this app.use? Here we will say we will use JSON format, and then app.use, and here we will mention that if any request comes to /users, assign it to the user router, and then const port equal to process.env dot port variable that we had in the .env file. Otherwise, if nothing is mentioned, then used I don't know, 2000 maybe. And we will start our app.listen. On this we will start our app on this port, and in the callback we will log in the console that app is started, app is running, is fine. Okay, so our index.js file is also ready. See, here we forgot one important thing, right? So we are using process.env.port, and so we also need to require the .env package, right? Require, so it will load that .env values config. Okay, now this will work. Now in users, from users we have said that if any request come to /users, send it to user router. Now we need to write that code in the users.js file. Okay, so here let me hide this terminal and let's start writing. So first we need to import express, require express, and then we will create now router, cos router equal to express dot router, and then const pull the db connection we just created. We will again require it, require /db. Since we exported from db.js, we can import it here, right? Pull connection. Okay, now here we will define our route. So our request is going to /user. I will just copy it from the Postman, right? This part we want to build. So if someone makes the request to /users, and these two parameters, we also need to support it dynamically. Okay, and this will be a GET request. So here I will define router.get and /. So in here, callback function, async function, two parameters, request, response. And inside that we will define our body. So first we need to get those things right. So const page equal to parse integer request dot query dot page. So using this syntax we will get the page value and we will parse it to the integer. Okay, now second thing we need is obviously limit, const limit equal to parse integer again, request dot query dot limit. Okay, and another thing is offset, const offset. So here by default it will be page -1 and into limit. So basically what is offset? I will tell you in simple examples. So let's assume here we are on page 1 and we requested for 5 records. Now let's say I make this page 2. So basically we will go to page 2, right? And we don't want first 5 records because we are on page 2. So we will need to neglect that first 5 records. So that's what it is doing. It will basically 5 - 1 into the limit. So it will go to next page, and so in query we can mention this offset and it will neglect the first this amount of records. So basically in our case it will neglect those first 5 records and show the 6 to 10. Okay, so that's what the offset is. Now here we will build our query thing. I will create try catch block. So inside catch we can always mention like console.error dot message. Okay, and we can send back to the server REST or JSON. Wait, we need to set the status right. Find that indicating that it is server side error, and then JSON, and in the JSON we will send that error server error. Okay, and in the try block we will write our query. So const total. So if you look at the format in which I send the data, right? So I also giving the useful information that you are currently on page 1 of the total pages 20, and we got total records for 100, right? And also there is limit of 5 records per page, so that's why it made like 20. So 5 into 20, it is total 100 records. Okay, so we need to make those variables, right? So total await of pool dot query. So here we will run first query to get the total record set. So here select count records from users. So this will give us the dynamic count, dynamic record count that is present in the user table. And then the second variable is result equal to await pool dot query. So here I will write that query in quotes, select star from users, order by id and limit of $1 and offset of $2. Now $1 and $2 is dynamic variables that we will pass here, which we received dynamically. So limit and offset. Now let's say someone doesn't pass anything and directly make request to the API, then we have to make use of those dynamic values. So basically what this is, if there is no data present here, this will become false and it will take the value from here. Same goes for this, and if there is value present here, then it will become true and it won't take values from the other side. Okay, so that's what the logic is. Now next thing is, now our query results are ready and everything. We just need to prepare the data and send back to the JSON. So res.json format, what we need to send, page, then limit, then total. So in the total, again parse integer, and here total dot rows dot count. Okay, and then another thing is total pages. So this will be a round, so mat.sil and total dot rows of 0 dot count slash limit. So we need to divide the number by limit, right? So we will know that if per page we are showing 5 results, we will create 20 pages, right? So that's what it is. Then we will attach the data, actual data that will be fetched, result dot rows. Okay, so let's save this and everything is in its place. So let's start our server. See here, semicolon is not required because this is object, so it should be like comma and then another value if any. So right now there is only one value, so yeah. So let's clear this and run it, npm run start. Okay, there is some error. Okay, the problem is that we created this router, right, and we forgot to export it. So in under the routers and user.js, you need to export this. So model dot exports equal to router. So let's save this and try again. So it is saying like app is running, so let's test that if it is real working. So if I send the request now, so as you can see, I got the page result of 2, and on each page I requested for 5 data. So basically on page 2 it obviously will start from the 6 side, because on page 1 I saw 1 to 5. And let's say I want to see the results of third page, and it will show me for 11, right? Because if we divide each 5 into 3 parts, so 5, 5 and 5, so first 10 we saw, then we will see from the 11. So let's do one thing, let's remove those parameters from here, and let's see if default parameters are working. So if I send request, so as you can see by default it takes that limit like page 1 and limited by 10. So I will see first 10 records. And if I go to second page, so let's go to second page, so page equal to 2. If I send the request, so as you can see I am seeing the records from the 11, and it has automatically offsetted the first 10 records, and it is not showing me those 10 records, right? So yeah, that's it for this tutorial. I will give a link to this project in the description.